Well, it's next day now, and I'm going to start taking apart my Farmall Regular. And I said the engine is tight. The first plug I pulled out, not a good sign. Look at that. I pulled out a second one, and that one looked good. I'm hoping this will be the only cylinder. But hopefully, sometimes the plug will look real bad like that, and the cylinder will still clean up good enough to use. So the engine will have to come apart, and the head will have to come off. It has one rear tire that won't hold air. It isn't much of a tire, but I can see if I can take it off, take the tube out, see if it's patchable, so I can at least pump it up, because it'd be a lot easier to move around, even unload with all the tires up. I already have 4 to 6 lug nuts off, and it's amazing how loose they are. I haven't even started on the last 2, but with the first 4 off, you can see the wheel actually moves, so they were never even completely tight. So I'm amazed that the holes aren't wobbled out from use. So I'm going to get the last 2 off. That's how easy they turn loose. See, they're just incredibly loose, and they're bolts that go through a flange, so you have to hold the nut on the head of the bolt on the backside, which I think is kind of unusual. Well, we got those off. Let's see if we can get her off. Let's see if it'll fall down. Yeah, it came down. Gravity has never failed me yet. Now, this is what I do for fun since I'm retired. Now that wasn't too bad at all. Well, I think I found the leak. Now, you've probably all noticed that I don't paint any of my equipment. I let it in there. I let them in their work clothes. Like this to pull the head and work on it. It's always, yeah, be careful taking it apart. So when I put it back together, it looks, I try to make it look like it hasn't been worked on and keep everything looking original. As you can see, I took the gear off front of the steering shaft because I gotta get the steering shaft out of the way in order to lift the hood off over the exhaust pipe. You see, I'd put a turnbuckle in for tightening the chain so I can loosen that. One feature I want to show you is normally there would have been exhaust, it looked like a cast muffler or something bolted on the bottom of the exhaust manifold here with the exhaust coming out the side. Here you can see he had cut a hole in the exhaust manifold and welded on a pipe fitting so he could put the exhaust out through the hood. So I got to get that steering shaft off so I can lift the hood off of the exhaust pipe. So far everything is coming apart incredibly easy. This turnbuckle, I can actually turn it by hand. So I hope everything keeps coming apart that easily. Once again, I think it's kind of amazing. Even the bolts that clamp the gas tank and the hood down just come loose really easy. So now we should be able to lift the hood off. Well, it should be easy to pull the valve cover off. There aren't even nuts holding it on. I think these are priming cups I got to take off because the valve cover won't fit over them, because I believe these are the oil cups for oiling the valves, but when we get it apart we'll know. Well, it looks nice and clean under the valve cover, and these priming cups you can see went right down into the head there, so I'm sure they go right into the intake manifold, so that would have been for priming the cylinders. And I can move I can move every one of the valves and they return so they aren't stuck. So I'm hoping it won't really look too bad inside. Now I have to pull that cotter pin and pull that pin out there to disconnect the governor. I've never taken one of these governors apart. Let's see how it goes. Well, I should say it's not the governor, it's the linkage coming from the governor to the carburetor. And it just amazes me how easily all these bolts are coming out on this thing. Just like that carburetor's off. Different looking carburetor. Now I got to take off that water connection, so it's easier to get the hoses off there. Again, this is just how easy all these bolts are coming out. It just amazes me. Normally you'd think of a cap screw like that into the cast iron radiator tank as you'd just be afraid they're going to be rusted tight and fear of breaking them off. But everything is just coming apart like it was put together yesterday. Now this was really a good sign. I started to pull this off, it looked wet, and lo and behold, let's see, it's got, as you can see, it nice green coolant in it, so I got to drain it. So that's really a good sign that the cooling system is full. Now I may have taken this apart unnecessarily, but it will be good for like cleaning out this intake, the corrosion in it, and I'll clean the carburetor. But I thought I would try turning it one more time, by just like I did yesterday, by putting a bar in the universal joints going to the transmission. Lo and behold, now it turns real easy. So before I go any farther and do any damage, I think I might get, I don't have one, wait and get myself a bore scope to check in that one cylinder. And if it's rusty above the piston, I might still pull ahead, but I want to look at them before I actually crank it over. I think it's the safest bet. So this is probably all I'm going to do on it for today. I may have taken some stuff apart unnecessarily, but that's alright. Well, I'm not going to do any more until my bore scope comes that I ordered. So this is where I'm going to stop it until I get that. So thanks once again for watching.